So, Overlord. New map that Wargaming introduced in 9.7. Overlord has a hard time showing up in Matchmaker, so I'm pretty sure that's why you're here. You don't get any chance to learn the map, and by the next time you get it, you've already forgotten everything. Yay! But yeah, no worries. I'll show you some of the basics of what I picked up. The beach is definitely what comes to mind when you think of the map Overlord. After all, Overlord is supposed to make you feel like you're at the D-Day landings. A lot of wide open, smooth terrain, littered with some small obstacles and cover, and some hills and obstructions between the two sides. Quite good for daring runabout lights, and those who favor ranged warfare. Heavies, well-protected mediums, and beefy tank destroyers can excel here a little bit, using their armor and decent guns to slowly push the beach. However, the beach has a number of constraints which make it unappealing as an avenue of advancement. For one, the enormous cliff looming over the beach is an optimal perch for pesky lights and mediums to shoot down on the beach, even if tanks on the beach opt to hug the cliffside to escape their fire. Those lights can keep them continuously spotted. There's also the large openings that lead from the beach to the cap points. They may be large, and there may be two of them, but they're all incredible choke points that can entrap slower tanks and incubate the circumstances for certain death. Up top above the beach, you have these high-rising hills, one above the other, above the bluff, right in the middle of the map. This area means a lot of peeking opportunities and surprise flanking. It's pretty much a matter of what your tank is best at. If you have armor, you can hold one of the roads, and if you have mobility, you can get around the roads using the hills and flank. Your team needs to have presence here if you want to succeed in this area. A tank left completely alone will easily be surrounded and then killed. Scouts can also use this area to outrun and outmaneuver mediums and other scouts, and get some risky, but very beneficial spotting on enemy tanks. Big problems to watch out for in this zone. It's much more exposed to artillery fire than the beach is. The area is generally very vulnerable and gives tanks with more maneuverability and flexibility the clear advantage. Cumbersome and slow tanks, such as, well, heavy tanks and tank destroyers, might struggle a little bit here. In the map's east, you have the bowls and the farmland hills. This area tends to be flustered with all of the tank classes, because it benefits all of them very well. In the narrow road close to the edge of the map, the hills are tall enough to conceal even heavy tanks. However, they're sloped and smooth enough to allow light and medium tanks to drive up on them and spot targets, and even engage enemies. It's best for light tanks to only crest hills when they have an enemy singled out to finish off, or a tank in a vulnerable spot they want a quick shot at. Mediums will find great joy in shooting each other across the large T-shaped bowl in the middle, and simply shooing each other off the ridge around the bowl to simply find another place on the ridge and repeat the process. Heavies can easily push the roads, where they can anticipate the quicker tanks trying to flank them, and push as fast as their team can handle, quickly getting damage at tanks on the other side and turning the tide of the battle. With tank destroyers, there's plenty of vegetation or foliage for you to conceal your tank in. Coupled with the ridges providing good elevated terrain for increased flexibility, tank destroyers can excel greatly here, getting damage and still remaining close to the fight. It's also a great strategy to pick out a friendly tank on his way to a lane of advance, and support him when he gets there, getting damage off of his spotting, and helping him to push the flank. In the end, the farmland hills and bowls are a much more dynamic area that allows for greater flexibility in changing the course of a battle. Well, that's all I've got for now for you. Overlord is quite a big map with a lot to it, but these basic tips will hopefully give you a better idea of how to go about battling on it the next time you show up on Overlord. I hope that for you this was a helpful guide, and I wish you good luck on your next battle on Overlord.